What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be reading from Second Kings. Amen, amen. God bless you. Yeah, I might go live again later tonight. I got to do a couple of haircuts, so that's why I'm going live right now. But we'll see how it goes. God bless you. Today we're going to be reading from Second Kings, chapter 24. We're reading from the Old Testament. During Jehoiakim. All right. During Jehoiakim's reign, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon invaded the land of Judah. Jehoiakim surrendered and paid him tribute for 3 years, but then rebelled. Then the Lord sent bands of Babylonian, Aramean, Moabite, and Ammonite raiders against Judah to destroy it, just as the Lord had promised. Just as the Lord had promised through his prophets. These disasters happened to Judah because of the Lord's command. He had decided to banish Judah from his presence because of the many sins of Manasseh, who had filled Jerusalem with innocent blood. The Lord will not forgive this. The rest of the events in Jehoiakim's reign and all his deeds are recorded in the book of the history of the kings of Judah. When Jehoiakim died, his sons Jehoiachin became the next king. The king of Egypt did not venture out of his country after that, for the king of Babylon captured the entire area formerly claimed by Egypt, from the brook of Egypt to the Euphrates River. Verse 8, titled Jehoiachin Rules in Judah. Jehoiachin was 18 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. His mother was Nehushta, the daughter of Elnathan from Jerusalem. Jehoiachin did what was evil in the Lord's sight, just as his father had done. Verse 10. During Jehoiachin's reign, the officers of King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came up against Jerusalem and besieged it. Nebuchadnezzar himself arrived at the city during the siege. Then King Jehoiachin, along with the queen mother, his advisors, his commanders, and his officials, surrendered to the Babylonians. In the 8th year, Nebuchadnezzar's reign, he took Jehoiachin prisoner. As the Lord had said beforehand, Nebuchadnezzar carried away all the treasures from the Lord's temple and the royal palace. He stripped away all the gold objects that King Solomon of Israel had placed in the temple. King Nebuchadnezzar took all of Jerusalem captive, including all the commanders and the best of the soldiers, craftsmen, and artisans, 10,000 in all. Only the poorest people were left in the land. Nebuchadnezzar led King Jehoiachin away as a captive to Babylon, along with the queen mother, his wives and officials, and all Jerusalem's elite. He also exiled 7,000 of the best troops and 1,000 craftsmen and artisans, all of whom were strong and fit for war. Then the king of Babylon installed Mattaniah, Jehoiachin's uncle, as the next king, and he changed Mattaniah's name to Zedekiah. What up, Bubble? Verse 18, titled, Zedekiah rules in Judah. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 11 years. His mother was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah from Libnah. But Zedekiah did what was evil in the Lord's sight, just as Jehoiakim had done. These things happened because of the Lord against the people of Jerusalem and Judah, until he finally banished them from his presence and sent them into exile. Chapter 25, titled, The Fall of Jerusalem. Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. So on January 15th, during the 9th year of Zedekiah's reign, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon led his entire army against Jerusalem. They surrounded the city and built siege ramps against its walls. Jerusalem was kept under siege until the 11th year of King Zedekiah's reign. By July 18th, in the 11th year of Zedekiah's reign, the famine in the city had become very severe, and the last of the food was entirely gone. Then a section of the city wall was broken down. Since the city wall was surrounded by the Babylonians, the soldiers waited for nightfall and escaped through the gate between the two walls behind the king's garden. They headed toward the Jordan Valley. But the Babylonian troops chased the king and overtook him on the plains of Jericho, for his men had all deserted him and scattered. They captured the king and took him to the king of Babylon at Riblah, where they pronounced judgment upon Zedekiah. They made Zedekiah watch as they slaughtered his sons. Then they gouged out Zedekiah's eyes, bound him in bronze chains, and led him away to Babylon. What's up, my friend? Verse 8. If you'd like to follow along with your Bibles, I am reading from the Old Testament, 2 Kings chapter 25, verse 8, titled, The Temple Destroyed. On August the 14th, that was my grandfather's birthday. On August the 14th of that year, which was the 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar's reign, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard and an official of the Babylonian king, arrived in Jerusalem. He burned down the temple of the Lord, the royal palace, and all the houses of Jerusalem. He destroyed all the important buildings in the city. Then he supervised the entire Babylonian army as they tore down the walls of Jerusalem on every side. Then Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, took as exiles the rest of the people who remained in the city, the doctors who had declared their allegiance to the king of Babylon, and the rest of the population. But the captain of the guard allowed some of the poorest people to stay behind to care for the vineyards and fields. The Babylonians broke up the bronze pillars in front of the Lord's temple, the bronze water carts, and the great bronze basin called the Sea. And they carried all the bronze away to Babylon. They also took all the ash buckets, shovels, lamp snuffers, ladles, and all the other bronze articles used for making sacrifices at the temple. The captain of the guard also took the incense burners and basins and all the other articles made of pure gold or silver. The weight of the bronze from the two pillars, the sea, and the water carts were too great to be measured. These things had been made for the Lord's temple in the days of Solomon. Each of the pillars was 27 feet tall. The bronze capital on top of each pillar was seven half feet high and was decorated with a network of bronze pomegranates all the way around. Mosquitoes, man. Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, took with him as prisoners Seraiah, the high priest, Zephaniah, the priest of the second rank, and the three chief gatekeepers. And from among the people still hiding in the city, he took an officer who had been in charge of the Judean army, 5 of the king's personal advisors, the army commander's chief secretary, who was in charge of recruitment, and 60 other citizens. Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, took them all to the king of Babylon at Riblah. And there at Riblah, in the land of Hamath, the king of Babylon had them all put to death. So the people of Judah were sent into exile from their land. Verse 22, titled, Gedaliah governs in Judah. Then King Nebuchadnezzar appointed Gedaliah, son Ahikam, and grandson of Shaphan, as governor over the people he had left in Judah. When all the army commanders and their men learned that the king of Babylon had appointed Gedaliah as governor, they went to see him at Mizpah. These included Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, Johanan, son of Kareah, Seraiah, son of Tanhumeth, the Netophathite, Jezaniah, son of Makathite, and all their men. Gedaliah vowed to them that the Babylonian officials meant them no harm. Don't be afraid of them. Live in the land and serve the king of Babylon, and all will go well for you, he promised. But in mid-autumn of that year, Ishmael, son of Nethaniah and grandson of Elishama, who was a member of the royal family, went to Mizpah with 10 men and killed Gedaliah. He also killed all the Judeans and Babylonians who were with him at Mizpah. Then all the people of Judah, from the least to the greatest, as well as the army commanders, fled in panic to Egypt, for they were afraid of what the Babylonians would do to them. Verse 27, titled, Hope for Israel's Royal Line. Hey, what's up, Yvonne? Thank you for joining us. I'm reading from 2 Kings chapter 27. 2 Kings chapter 25, verse 27, titled Hope for Israel's Royal Line. In the 37th year of the exile of King Jehoiachin of Judah, evil Merodach ascended to the Babylonian throne. He was kind to Jehoiachin and released him from prison on April the 2nd of that year. He spoke kindly to Jehoiachin and gave him a higher place than all the other exiled kings in Babylon. He supplied Jehoiachin with new clothes to replace his prison garb and allowed him to dine in the king's presence for the rest of his life. So the king gave him a regular food allowance as long as he lived. All right, that's it for 2 Kings. Now, we are going to be reading from 1 Chronicles. 1 Chronicles, from the book of 1 Chronicles. We're in the Old Testament, chapter 1, titled From Adam to Noah's Sons. The descendants of Adam were Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah. The sons of Noah were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Verse 5, titled Descendants of Japheth. The descendants of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. The descendants of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. The descendants of Javan and Rodanim. And Canaan. The descendants of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Ramah, and Sabteka. The descendants of Ramah were Sheba and Dedan. Cush was also the ancestor of Nimrod, who was the first heroic warrior on earth. Mizraim was the ancestor of the Ludites, Anamites, Lehabites, Naphthalites, Canaan was Sidon, the ancestor of Canaan was also the ancestor of Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Arkites, Sinites, Arvadites, Zemarites, and Hamathites. Verse 17, titled The Descendants of Shem. The descendants of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The descendants of Aram were Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arphaxad was the father of Shelah. Shelah was the father of Eber. Eber had two sons. The first was named Peleg, which means division. For during his lifetime, the people of the world were divided into different language groups. His brother's name was Joktan. Joktan was the ancestor of Almadad. Sheleph, Hazarmaveth, Jira, Hadaram, Uzal, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All these were descendants of Joktan. So this is the family line descended from Shem. Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Ru, Serug, Nahor, Terah, and Abram, later known as Abraham. Verse 28, titled Descendants of Abraham. The sons of Abraham were Isaac and Ishmael. These are their genealogical records. The sons of Ishmael were Nebios, the oldest, Kedar, Adbil, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jator, Naphish, and Kedema. These were the sons of Ishmael. The sons of Keturah, Abraham's concubine, were Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. The sons of Jokshan were Sheba and Dedan. The sons of Midian were Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abida, and Eldah. All these were descendants of Abraham through his concubine Keturah. Verse 34, titled The Descendants of Isaac. Abraham was the father of Isaac. The sons of Isaac were Esau and Israel. Verse 35, titled Descendants of Esau. The sons of Esau were Eliphaz, Reuel, Jeush, Jalem, and Korah. The descendants of Eliphaz were Teman, Zepho, Gatam, Kenaz, and who was born in Timnah. The descendants of Reuel were Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. Verse 38, Original Peoples of Edom is the title. The descendants of Seir were Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishan, Ezer, and Dishan. The descendants of Lotan were Hori and Hemam. Lotan's sister was named Timnah. The descendants of Shobal were Alvin, Manahath, Ebal, Shapho, and Onam. The descendants of Zibeon were Aiah and Anna. The son of Anna was Dashan. The descendants of Dashan were Hamdan, Eshban, Ithran, and Karan. The descendants of Ezer were Bilhan, Zavan, and Achan. The descendants of Dashan were Uz and Aran. Verse 43, titled Rulers of Edom. These are the kings who ruled in the land of Edom before any king ruled over the Israelites. Bela, son of Beor, who ruled from his city of Dinhabah. When Bela died, Jobab, son of Zerah, from Basra became king in his place. When Jobab died, Husham, from the land of the Temanites, became king in his place. When Husham died, Hadad, son of Badad, became king in his place and ruled from the city of Avith. He was the one who destroyed the Midianite army in the land of Moab. When Hadad died, Samlah became king in his place. When Samlah died, Shaul from the city of Rehoboth on the river became king in his place. When Shaul died, Belhanan, son of Akbor, became king in his place. When Belhanan died, Hadad became king in his place and ruled from the city of Pau. His wife was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, and granddaughter of Mizah. Then Hadad died. The clan leaders of Edom were Timnah, Alva, Jetheth, Aholibama, Elah, Pinon, Kenaz, Teman, Mibzar, Magdiel, and Iram. These are the clan leaders of Edom. Chapter 2, titled Descendants of Israel. The sons of Israel were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. Verse 3, titled Descendants of Judah. Judah had 3 sons from Bathsheba, a Canaanite woman. Their names were Onan, and Shelah. But the Lord saw that the oldest son, was a wicked man, so he killed him. Later, Judah had twin sons from Tamar, his widowed daughter-in-law. Their names were Perez and Zerah. So Judah had 5 sons in all. The sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamul. The sons of Zerah were Zimri, Ethan, Haman, Calcol, and Darda, 5 in all. The sons of Carmi, a descendant of Zimri, was Achan, who brought disaster on Israel by taking plunder that had been set apart for the Lord. The son of Ethan was Azariah. Got him. All right. Verse 9. Titled, From Judah's grandson Hezron to David. The sons of Hezron were Jerahmeel, Ram, and Caleb. Ram was the father of Amminadab. Amminadab was the father of Nahshon, a leader of Judah. Was probably Nahshon. Nahshon was the father of Salmon. Salmon was the father of Boaz. Boaz was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse's first son was Eliab. His second was Abinadab. His third was Shemiah. His fourth was Nethanel. His fifth was Radai. His sixth was Ozem, and his seventh was David. Their sisters were named Zeruiah and Abigail. Abishai, Joab, and Asahel. Abigail married a man named Jether, an Ishmaelite, and they had a son named Amasa. Well, these names are difficult to pronounce, but I think I'm doing a pretty good job. Verse 18, titled, Other Descendants of Hezron. Hezron's son Caleb had sons from his wife Azubah and Jerioth. Her sons were named Jesher, Shobab, and Arden. After Azubah died, Caleb married Ephrathah. These mosquitoes out here, man. After Azubah died, Caleb married Ephrathah, and they had a son named Hur. Hur was the father of Uri. Uri was the father of Bezalel. When Hezron was 60 years old, he married Gilead's sister, the daughter of Machir. They had a son named Segub. Segub was the father of Jair, who ruled 23 towns in the land of Gilead. But Gesher and Aram captured the towns of Jer and also took Kenath and its 6 surrounding villages. All these were descendants of Machir, the father of Gilead. Soon after, in the town of Caleb, soon after Hezron died in the town of Caleb Ephrathah, his wife Abijah gave birth to a son named Ashur, the father of Tekoa. Thank you, Yvonne. I appreciate that. Got him. All right. Verse 25. Titled, Descendants of Hezron's son Jerahmeel. The sons of Jerahmeel, the oldest son of Hezron, were Ram, the firstborn, Bunah, Oren, Ozem, and Ahijah. Jerahmeel had a second wife named Atara. She was the mother of Onan. The sons of Ram, the oldest son of Jerahmeel, were Maz, Jamin, and Eker. The sons of Onan were These mosquitoes are pretty bad right now. The sons of Onan were Shammai and Jada. The sons of Shammai were Nadab and Abishur. The sons of Abishur and his wife Abihail or Abihail were Aban and Molid. The sons of Nadab were Seled and Apim. Seled died without children, but Apim had a son named Ishi. The son of Ishi was Sheshan. Sheshan had a descendant named Alai. The sons of Jada, Shammai's brother, were Jether and Jonathan. Jether died without children, but Jonathan had two sons named Peleth and Zaza. These were all descendants of Jerahmeel. Sheshan had no sons, though he died. Sheshan had no sons, though he did have daughters. He also had an Egyptian servant named Jarha. Sheshan gave one of his daughters to be the wife of Jarha, and they had a son named Adai. Adai was the father of Nathan. Nathan was the father of Zabad. Zabad was the father of Ephlal. Ephlal was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jehu. Jehu was the father of Azariah. Azariah was the father of Helez. Helez was the father of Eleazar. Eleazar was the father of Sismai. Sismai was the father of Shallum. Shallum was the father of Jechamiah. Jechamiah was the father of Elishama. Man, those words sound like a that's great. Verse 42, titled Descendants of Hezron's son Caleb. The descendants of Caleb, the brother of Jerahmeel, included Misha, the firstborn, who became the father of Ziph. Caleb's descendants also included the sons of Marishah, the father of Hebron. The sons of Hebron were Korah, Tapua, Rechem, and Shema. Shema was the father of Raham. Raham was the father of Jorkiam. Rechem was the father of Shammai. The son of Shammai was Maon. Maon was the father of Beth Zor. Caleb's concubine Ephah gave birth to Haran, Mosa, and Gazez. Haran was the father of Gazez. The son of Jada were Regem, Jotham, another of Caleb's concubines. Maacah gave birth to Sheber and Tirhana. She also gave birth to Shaph, the father of Madmannah, and Shiva, the father of Machbenah, and Jabeah. Caleb also had a daughter named Aksa. These were all descendants of Caleb. Descendants of Caleb's son Hor. The sons of Hur, the oldest son of Caleb's wife, Ephrathah, were Shobal, the founder of Kiriath Jearim, Salma, the founder of Bethlehem, and Hareph, the founder of Beth Gader. Wow. I've never read Chronicles, but that's all it is about. Get him. But yeah, I've never read Chronicles, to be honest with you, but that's all it's about. It's these difficult names. Okay. Verse 52. Chapter 2, verse 52. We're reading from First Chronicles. The descendants of Shobal, the founder of Kiriath Jearim, were Haroi, half the Mahanathites, and the families of Kiriath Jearim, the Ithrites, Puthites, Shumathites, and Misharites, from whom came the people of Zorah and Eshtaol. The descendants of Salma were the people of Bethlehem, the Netophathites, Atroth Beth Joab, the other half of the Mahanathites, the Zorites, and the families of scribes living at Jabez, the Tirathites, the Shemeathites, and Sukathites. All these were Kenites who descended from Hamath, the father of the family of Rechab. Chapter 3. Hey, what's up, Armando? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I'm going live early today, so I gotta do a haircut tonight. A couple haircuts. So yeah, I'm doing my live right now. But I'm not gonna be on too much longer, brother. I'll probably be on for another couple of minutes, man. But I might come on again tonight, bro. If it's not too late. Chapter 3. Title: Descendants of David. These are the sons of David who were first born in Hebron. The oldest was Amnon, whose mother was Ahinoam from Jezreel. The second was Daniel, whose mother was Abigail from Carmel. The third was Absalom, whose mother was Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. The fourth was Adonijah, whose mother was Haggith. The fifth was Shephatiah, whose mother was Tal. The sixth was Ithream, whose mother was Eglah, David's wife. These 6 sons were born to David in Hebron, where he reigned 7.5 years. Then David reigned another 33 years in Jerusalem. The sons born to David in Jerusalem included Shemua, Shobab, Nathan, and Solomon. Their mother was Bathsheba, the daughter of Amiel. David also had 9 other sons: Ibhar, Elishua, Elpelet, Noga, Nepheg, Japhiah, Elishama, Eliada, and Eliphelet. These were the sons of David, not including his sons born to his concubines. Their sister was named Tamar. I'll tell you what, guys. I'll always do my videos at 5 o'clock. I mean the shorts. Hey, what's up, Valerie? Thank you for joining us. Check it out. I always do my videos, my shorts that I do every day. I do them at 5 o'clock. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop my Bible reading right now. I'm gonna do my shorts, and I'm gonna come back on. So be looking for me between 5:20 and 5:25. So if you guys want to join me again, I apologize for the pause, but like I said, I always do my shorts at 5 o'clock every day. So I'll be back on at 5:20, 5:25. Thank you guys for joining. I love you guys, and I will see you shortly. See you at the top.